Hello, I'm Captain Robert McCullough, and welcome to Police Report, brought to you by the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department. This program brings you information on crime trends, crime prevention techniques, and information on police department activities and operations. In today's program, we'll be highlighting the 2017 Baltimore County Police Foundation Award winners. Each year, the Baltimore County Police Foundation and its corporate sponsors take the time to honor the dedicated, courageous, and hardworking members of the Baltimore County Police Department in now 7 categories: community service, crime prevention, distinguished contribution to the profession, exceptional performance, exceptional group performance, valor, and now a new category, Rookie of the Year. I'm sure you will want to watch these compelling stories. The Baltimore County Police Department is one of the largest municipal police departments in the nation and has been in existence since 1874. The Baltimore County Police Foundation has been in existence for more than 37 years and has been recognizing the accomplishments of the department members for just as long. The first award category is for Rookie of the Year. The Police Foundation has added a new award this year, Rookie of the Year. This award may be given to an officer who has less than 2 years of service and no previous law enforcement experience, who has exhibited superior employee traits such as teamwork, initiative, integrity, dependability, judgment, community involvement, leadership, job knowledge, peer respect, and who would be considered an appropriate departmental role model. This year, the award was presented to Officer James Kolszewski of Precinct 2, Woodlawn.
Right when I redeployed from my last deployment, a Baltimore County police officer was killed. And heard about it on the news, didn't really know anything about it. Started making calls because I have a lot of friends, very close friends in Baltimore County. Talked to somebody that I really look up to, and he pretty much informed me it was a Baltimore County TAC officer, which is something else. Was very interested in at a young age from the Joseph Palczynski raid. I think I was like 10 years old, thinking that was the coolest thing in the world, watching those guys run around in their black suits. But that motivated me. I learned a lot in the military. I did a lot of things, went to a lot of places, and I wanted to come back to Baltimore County. It's a lot harder than I expected to get into Baltimore County. So I started college right when I got out, thinking I'll do like a semester and get picked up. Not the case. Took about a little over a year to actually get through the whole process and get into the academy. I was in the academy. It was I was asking around all my friends, you know, where can I do the most work? Where can I be a cop's cop? And everyone kind of pointed to Woodlawn. So that's naturally where I went, and I don't regret it at all. I was told there's going to be a lot more opportunity to experience a lot of different crimes. One of the things people would tell me often is 2 years in Woodlawn is worth like 5 or 6 years somewhere else. The best part of policing for me is the thought that I'm making a difference. I say the thought because not everyone agrees with what I'm doing, and that's where the politics come into it. The guy that clearly likes using drugs isn't going to think that I'm making a difference right now. But maybe the family across the street, you know, that's tired of seeing somebody selling drugs in the corner might think I am making a difference. One of the common things one of the guys on my shift always says, it's common in the military terms, you're trying to build rapport with the local populace, is they don't have clean water, they give the village water. So there goes Jay, you know, he's giving the village water. And I'm out there trying to talk to him, maybe build rapport. I'm trying to build rapport, but also, I mean, I'm looking for that on-view arrest too. He might tell me about something that's going on in the neighborhood or in Woodlawn or somewhere else that may be interesting to me or another officer or detective. The best part for me in Woodlawn is the guys I work with. Probably wouldn't be here being honored or whatever for this, one for them, because I make mistakes every day. A lot of mistakes, and fortunately those guys kind of square me away as soon as I make them. So very fortunate to have those guys on the left and right, precinct 2, shift 2, whatnot.
Officer Kolszewski served 7 years in the United States Army before transitioning to the Baltimore County Police Department. In the future, Officer Kolszewski hopes to work as a detective in the Investigative Services Team or as a member of the Community Action Team. The second award category is for community service. The award may be given to any individual who, over the past 12 months, has compiled an outstanding performance record in service to the community or has performed a single outstanding community service activity that would merit unusual recognition. This year, the award was presented to Police Officer First Class Darrell A. Hunter, School Resource Officer at Precinct 11, Essex.
As you know, as a school resource officer, we work on three objectives. First, to be a law enforcement officer in the school. Second, to be a counselor and a mentor. And third, to be a law enforcement educator. The best part for me are the kids. In law enforcement, especially when you're working patrol, oftentimes you get to clean up messes, and we are responding to things after things have already happened. And as an SRO, you have an opportunity to get into the classrooms to be proactive.
When I have a program that needs strong leadership and needs a rebuilding, you know, Dale's the guy that I talk to. They all want to be seen with Officer Hunter. They want to be around him. They want to try out for his teams. They want to play for him.
Officer Hunter is an incredible man. He is very caring. He's very interested in our students. He has interest in them above and beyond what happens to them just during the school day. He knows a little bit about all of our students, and that's because he engages with them. He talks with them. He asks them questions. The students respect him because he respects them.
I stayed at Deep Creek until 2006. So the kids that I had taught in 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade were moving on. And 90% of them came here to Chesapeake, and so did I. So when I came here with those 8th graders, now incoming 9th graders, I got to see them grow from 6th grade and graduate from school in 12th grade. And that was amazing because you really don't get to have quality time with kids in that manner. Receiving this award is a great honor. It's just an example of what I say to the kids that I coach and kids that I have the privilege of coming in contact with. I say all the time, just do things from your heart, and it will always come back to you in some type of reward way. Can I share a secret with you? Before I wanted to become a police officer, I'd always wanted to be a math teacher. So I kind of, killed two birds with one stone, working in the school as a police officer. And for me, there's no better way of serving my community from my heart.
Officer Hunter first became a school resource officer at Deep Creek Middle School before he was brought into his current assignment at Chesapeake High School. Officer Hunter has been with the department for almost 30 years. The third award category is crime prevention. The award may be given to any individual who, over the past 12 months, has made outstanding contributions to the prevention of crime by such actions as educating citizens in public safety measures, designed improved security techniques, developing and implementing effective crime prevention strategies or tactics, solving long-standing or particularly serious crime problems, or carrying out a single act of crime prevention that would merit unusual recognition. This year, the award was presented to Detectives Steve Jackson and Kenneth Brown of the Behavioral Assessment Unit Workplace Violence Team for creating a training presentation for the roughly 25,000 businesses in Baltimore County and the Baltimore County school system that is focused on workplace violence, de-escalation techniques, and active shooter response.
Biggest thing that we teach is looking for the crisis warning signs. And basically what those are is just a set of things that are out there that can let you know whether or not an individual may have a potential to commit some sort of violent act.
As soon as something happens on television, that's when we get a lot of phone calls. A lot of time they're trying to keep that type of incident, which is pretty much the last case scenario of a homicide or a shooting or such incidents like that. They'll call us to try to get training so that that incident will never happen in their place of employment.
The proudest moment that I've ever had in this role is when we get a call, and I've had a few of them, when we get a call from a business that says, thank you, you were able to prevent something that happened, and to us that's the greatest thing. I would honestly rather teach 20,000 trainings a year than ever investigate one workplace violence case. That would be amazing to me, to never have to investigate another one.
It's not about always arresting somebody, it's trying to find a history of a person for potential violence or potential of some type of crisis in which we could have some kind of aspect of helping them out.
I think a good thing to know about what we do is that we take this really serious. We do joke around a lot, and when we do the trainings, like I said, we kind of banter back and forth. We have a lot of fun with it, but we take this very, very seriously because we know that if we make a mistake in the judgment that we make, then a terrible event could occur.
There's only 2 of us, but we take every phone call and we will try to answer any question that we possibly can in reference to a situation that they might have. And they can believe that it's going to be in confidence, and we'll do the very best that we can to help solve the problem.
Detectives Jackson and Brown have been working together as partners for more than 8 years. As you can see, chemistry and teamwork are very important when working so closely. We'll take a brief break and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. The 4th award category is Distinguished Contribution to the Profession. This award may be given to any individual who has recognized a need and, through dedication of effort and duty, formulated, developed, and implemented plans which have introduced new innovative ideas, enhanced the professional image of the department, saved money, saved time, increased effectiveness, or raised the morale of the department. This year's award was presented to Officer First Class James A. Bollin for organizing the 2016 Marvin T. Hall Boating Safety Day in Middle River, after seeing 22 deaths on the waters in Maryland during the 2015 boating season. 6 of those were in Baltimore County. Officer Bollin named the event after Sergeant Marvin T. Hall, a beloved and dedicated member of the Marine Unit, who passed away after a heart attack at the age of 49.
I work with the Marine Unit with the county, and the previous season there was a lot of fatalities on the water. And it kind of hits home to me, and I love being on the water, and I love my job, so I thought it would be a pretty good idea to bring the community together and enforce some of the boating safety rules and regulations that could help save somebody's life. I thought of the idea to do a boater safety day. The day started with a family fun paddle. It's a stand-up paddleboarding, so one of the local agencies or businesses in the area, they brought in a lot of paddleboards. They sell them on the side, so they would come here, promote their business, and then also show and demonstrate the right ways to use paddleboards the safer way. We had local vendors that would come around, set up in the park, and have for on display material or live demonstrations that they could do, whether it was CPR, how to use a flare, how to wear a life jacket. In a police car, you go out and patrol the streets and you're looking for general safety violations, you're looking for a crime that may be occurring in your presence. So on the water we do the same thing. We go out and patrol in a marked patrol boat, and we're looking for speed violators, or we're looking for people driving recklessly, small kids without life jackets on. And we do search and rescue, so we help assist the Coast Guard and the National Resources Police with incidents if people were to fall over, if the boat catches fire, if they start taking on water. What's impacted me the most is frankly, the disregard that people have for other people when they're out in close proximity to each other when they're operating their boats, and the disregard for when they're drinking on board their boat. It was fun to see everything come together and then see everybody, the families that were able to come in and just have fun and participate and, had a good time. Well, a lot of people in the county police department don't really remember that we have a Marine unit, so it was neat to actually put something on show, on display, to actually reinforce what we do every day and that what we can do and what we should really do more of. A lot of these deaths on the water as a result of alcohol could be prevented if people would just take a few minutes, like as they would if they were driving in a car or leaving a bar, just have somebody designated to drive their boat back. Baltimore County has the responsibility of about 230 nautical miles of shoreline, and that's a large area. A lot of people don't really understand how much water we have surrounding Baltimore County, but once you go out, it's pretty awesome to see how much water we have. I love it. Every day I like to come to work, and I get to go in a small boat and just drive around and help people out, patrol the waters, and it's probably the best job in the department, I think.
The second annual Marvin T. Hall Boating Safety Day will be held Saturday, June the 3rd at Wilson Point Park in Middle River. The fifth award category is Exceptional Performance. This award may be given to any individual who, during the past 12 months, has made outstanding contributions towards keeping the community safe by performing an exceptional amount and/or quality of police activity, developing and implementing effective operational strategies or tactics, or conducting a skillful or persevering investigation of a complex nature. This year's honoree for exceptional individual performance is Officer First Class Jeff Schaub of the county's DUI Task Force. In 2016, Officer Schaub made more than 500 traffic stops, issued nearly 1,000 citations, and arrested 107 drunk drivers, earning him the prestigious ACE Award.
I remember distinctly my very first shift. I was not even out of the locker room yet. My FTO came down and said, "Come on, we're going to go lock up a drunk driver." Fortunately, nobody was hurt in that crash, but it was an impaired driver. My first lockup was made before I even had my first coffee. The very first death scene I ever had to deal with was an impaired driver who rolled his Jeep. There were 3 people in the Jeep. The driver died in the middle of the roadway. One of them didn't even need to go to the hospital, and the other one was released before we cleaned up the scene.
Officer Schaub says one of his motivations for becoming a police officer and taking impaired drivers off the road was the death of his cousin Rick in 1989.
He rolled his car over by Lock Raven High School, and he was essentially killed at the scene. They transported him to the hospital, but he was essentially killed at the scene. In his car was a 6-pack of beer. 1 was completely missing, 4 were completely intact, and 1 bottle was broken. That's been one of my highest motivations since I've been doing this.
After more than 20 years on the force, Officer Schaub says people are more aware of the dangers of impaired driving, but he believes there is more work to be done, and he and the other members of the DUI task force are up to the challenge.
I don't know that each driver we locked up would have killed somebody, but I have to believe that a percentage would have. And whatever percentage that is a number that's too high for me. It's too high for you, and it's too high for everybody who has friends, relatives, associates, and neighbors that are driving on the roadway. I still have folks that I know that drink and drive. I still have to talk to people. I still have to let them know drinking and driving, it's just not, it's not a recipe that ends in anything but disaster. Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow night, but one night it will.
We'll be back after this brief message.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Welcome back. The 6th category is Exceptional Group Performance. This award may be given to any group of 3 or more who, during the past 12 months, has made outstanding contributions towards keeping the community safe by performing an exceptional amount and or quality of police activity, developing and implementing effective operational strategies or tactics, or conducting a skillful or persevering investigation of a complex nature. The group award was presented to the Digital Evidence and Multimedia Evidence Unit. Christopher Coleman, Ashley Hoffman, Gregory Klein, and Dana McAllister.
As a member of the Digital Multimedia Evidence Unit, I respond to various crime scenes around Baltimore County, anything from a petty theft all the way up to homicides. And I download surveillance video from the scene, bring it back to headquarters, create the evidence. And at the request of some of the officers, I'm also asked to enhance the video.
I examine digital evidence, which includes computers and mobile devices, for evidence of a crime, whatever crime they're asking us to examine it for. Most unique thing would be, I feel, is examining other people's stuff, seeing what other people have on their computers or cell phones or whatever it may be that I'm examining.
The most unique thing about my job is probably the ever-evolving technology. It's changing constantly, and we're constantly updating, researching, and just learning new techniques. On television, the shows I watch, everything appears to happen instantaneously. That's not the case. Sometimes things go quickly, but I've watched cases process pulling deleted items for as long as 2 weeks. It just doesn't appear on the screen.
There can be frustrations with the length of time that it takes for a surveillance video to download, the number of requests that are coming in, the amount of different units that are requesting help from us, and sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming, but somehow at the end of the day I'm always able to get everything done that needs to be done and start all over the next day.
It's important to have a unit like the Digital and Multimedia Evidence Unit because every case can involve digital evidence. Almost every case we examine potentially could solve a case, whether it be through surveillance video, through a mobile device download, through a computer examination, looking at a vehicle to find out what kind of information is stored in the infotainment center within that vehicle. The multitude of digital evidence typically helps a case in some way. I would tell the Police Foundation that we're honored for this recognition, that we work hard every day, and we appreciate their recognition for our hard work. And we thank them for what they do in supporting us.
I think it will, make me work a little bit harder, knowing that, I have other individuals standing behind us, recognizing us for our hard work, and they realize that what we do up here, we're just not that hidden unit in the corner, that people actually, recognize us for what we do.
The 7th and final category is Valor. Just a brief warning, the video you're about to see may be a bit graphic for some of our viewers.
Officer Wright got dispatched for what came out as a disturbance. Essentially, the upstairs neighbor was making a lot of noise, banging things, I believe, and then essentially a noise complaint. Officer Remmers and I responded first.
We got out and made a normal approach. There was nothing different about this case. It was just like any other call for service.
Neighbor called saying that she was hearing noise coming from upstairs. She heard door slamming. She wasn't sure what's going on. She wanted officers just to come out and to just see what was happening.
When we knocked on the door, we didn't have an exact apartment number. We just knew what apartment complex it was.
Right before opening the door, I heard "It's time to die." The door comes open, and I'm initially staring at the individual's eyes, his face, before I even realized there was a knife in his hand. There were no steps behind me or no hard ground, so I initially dove/fell to the bottom of the steps, and as I'm coming up, I hear the shot over my shoulder from Officer Remmers.
The gentleman came out of the apartment and advanced towards us, and what I decided to do is jump to the right and just jump through 9 steps to the bottom. I had my gun out, I got it out when I was jumping, and I fired a shot, and the gentleman went down immediately.
The knife was down along his side, out of his grasp at that point. Secured that. Officer Wright comes up from the steps and helps me in handcuffing the individual. We roll one to his left as Officer Remmers goes out to get medical aid. The threat's neutralized at that point in time that we know of. up the steps, the knife is down, we secure that, you know, so it couldn't have went any better. He'd suffered one shot to his shoulder. We just started dialogue. Is anyone else in the apartment? No. We make sure nobody else is inside who was hurt.
Officer Rimmer's great job on his end. He goes, he grabs gauze to kind of stop the bleeding of the wound. Once he grabs the gauze, he puts the gauze on the our subject. We're still just asking him questions, making sure he's okay. Our subject tells us that he was pretty much he had been trying to kill himself. I think if I remember correctly, he said about 12 times he tried to kill himself, hadn't been successful. He was having a rough night, and this seemed like it was just another attempt on his end to do so.
Watching the body camera footage, you can hear clear as day say time to die before the door even opens. But, you know, I didn't hear it at the time, and it's crazy because it's very clear after the fact, but it wasn't at the time.
The person who takes that oath and the person who goes through the training that we went through, the person who puts on their vest, the badge, the firearm every single day, night, evening, whenever they put it on, you're not the type of person who feels that you have a choice in that situation. Your mentality is that you have to always, always go in when people are running out. I trust those two with my life, and that's not a cliche, that's not something I just say just for the sake of saying it. I am internally grateful that they are in my lead group because I trust those two guys in my life, and I know that any night I go in and I'm working with them, I know they have my back, and you know, I can only pray that it's the same, that they know I definitely have their back as well.
Officer Rimmer's shooting was the first captured on body-worn cameras for the Baltimore County Police Department. The subject involved in this shooting suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was charged with 3 counts of first-degree assault. According to Maryland case records, he was found incompetent to stand trial. That brings us to the end of this edition of Police Report. I'm Captain Rob McCullough saying, be kind to one another.